And I'm back, guys. It may not be the shock strut mount at all, because as you can see, there's still a lot of meat in there. The bushing within this portion is still there. Yeah, maybe it was loose, but yes, I tightened it up. But I think the clacking is coming from, wouldn't it be nice if the 2013 Lincoln mkZ that's jam-packed with all of the comforts that all would need would just run correctly. Here, I can tell you this car has not ran well since day one. First of all, when I drive, I'm constantly hearing a clanking and a clacking right here in the wheel well. I don't know what it is. This is a fairly new car. The rims are 20s, as you can see, LEXANIs. But I'm constantly having problems, either from the transmission jerking from 10 to 15 miles an hour, then jerking again from 25 to 30, and then from the blind door actuator constantly getting stuck, leaving my passenger freezing when it's cold. So take a ride with me so you can hear this noise in the back, so you can let me know what it is. And if I can figure out what it is, I'll fix it today. Let's go. Alright guys, driving the Lincoln mkZ 2013. And I can tell you guys, this car is a beaut. Okay? It's one of the most beautiful cars I've ever owned. It's actually my dream car. But because of the issues, I really just tend to not like it as much. And currently right now in the back, it is making a sound that makes me feel like something is loose. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna purposely drive over every pothole, speed bump, and I'm gonna place the camera behind me so you can kind of hear it. Did you hear that? Okay, so that was one little small pothole manhole cover. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through some railroad tracks, and I will place the camera behind me because this is where I'm hearing it. I'm hearing it from the rear left-hand side, which is my side, driver's side. And so maybe you guys could help me figure it out, and then from there I can get it fixed. Let's go. All right, coming up are the railroad tracks, guys. So I'm gonna go over it fairly slowly, but I want you to hear this, guys. Here we go. Railroad tracks coming up. Listen to the sound. You hear that? It sounds really, really loose. I'm not sure if it's the struts. The car is really not that old. So, I don't know. I really don't have time to mess with struts right now. But I'm gonna find another manhole or railroad track and I'll let you hear the sound again. All right guys, I decided to go over the same railroad tracks. I did a U-turn, so I'm gonna go right back to the same spot. Go ahead and listen to the back, guys. You hear that? Feels like just like my rear axle or just something that's just so loose. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm thinking that it's the struts or the strut mounts. Hopefully it's just a strut mount, and I'll just go ahead and tighten it up because I have heard some other Ford Fusions and Lincoln mkZs having issues to where you have to clamp the top of the strut mount just to get a good grip and then tighten it up as much as you can. So I will try that. Let's go. Okay, so first thing before we do anything, we want to ensure that the parking brake is engaged. So let's go ahead and take a look. The key fob is in my pocket. As you can see, I just pressed the brake. I'm not sure if you can see it right there. It says brake. That is the parking brake. You pull on it and then it will engage itself, just like that. All right, now on to the jacking. Now the first order of business is to jack the car up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the actual factory provided scissor jack. Reason why is because this is a low profile car. So it's really hard to get a hydraulic jack under here. But either way, I'd rather use this particular scissor jack because it has the right particular portion of mounts to go right on the pinch weld, right under here. So just use what came with the car and just jack it up the way it's supposed to go, really easy. So once I get it fully jacked up, you never want to work under the car unless you have full stabilization. So I have on the side my trusty jack stand. I won't be on the other side of the car because I'm only hearing the issues from this side. So once I put this up, I'll go ahead and place the jack stand right underneath, and we'll ensure that we're safe while we're essentially underneath the car. All right, now that the car is completely lifted off of the floor, currently right here, I see that the strut mount is right here. I could actually access it without removing the tire, but because it's actually so easy to remove it, I'll just go ahead and remove the tire regardless, just so I can have more space to move my arms. All right, inspect for any damage. It's all good. All right, so now that all the nuts are removed, I'm gonna go ahead and remove this tire. And as I inspect it, the strut looks pretty oily. I don't know what type of corrosion this is. I don't know if this means a bad strut or what. I don't know, guys, in the comments, let me know. Look at the condition of this. Is it supposed to be this way? It's not a lot of rust here, just surface rust. All right, so other YouTubers mentioned that this is pretty much loose. So what I'm gonna do is kick all these rocks out and just try to tighten it up as much as possible. And then I'll put the tire back on and I'll give it a drive and I'll let you know. And if it's still making that clacking sound, then it's probably the strut altogether. All right, let's go ahead and tighten this up. Okay guys, so the size of this nut here is 5/8. So I've turned it a couple times and I found that it was a little loose. But when I turn it, this does not seem to move with it. If this is moving with it, what I'm gonna do is get a vice grip and try to hold this down and use another method. But other than that, if this stays put, I'll just tighten this portion as tight as possible. You don't have to remove this, you don't have to remove these two pieces. What you can do is just get your 5/8 right under here, lift up all the way down. It's seated on there nicely, tightly, lefty loosey, righty tighty. Let's go ahead and tighten it up. See that? It still has room. Tighten it as much as possible. Hopefully this fixes the issue. I don't want to have to go under here again. Oh, that sucks. There you go. All right, so what I'm going to do is put the tire back on. I'm going to go for a test drive to see if it made any difference. And if it didn't make a difference, then most likely it's the actual struts that's having the problem. So let's take a look, we'll see. And I'm back, guys. It may not be the shock strut mount at all, because as you can see, there's still a lot of meat in there. The bushing within this portion is still there. Yeah, maybe it was loose, but yes, I tightened it up. But I think the clacking is coming from struts. So I think that may be the culprit. I'll still give you a final test drive for today to let you see if there's any other issues in regards to me tightening it. But I don't think me tightening this will help with the clacking. All right, back in mkZ. I'm just gonna go ahead and do my normal drive, see if I can find some manhole or potholes and just see if the tightening of the shock absorber or the strut actually made a difference. So let's see. There we go, here goes one. And the sound is still there. So I'm not sure if you heard it, but yes, it is still clanging and banging. So the tightening meant nothing. As I said, the strut mount was actually fine. It did, all the meat was there, the bushing was perfectly fine. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go through the train tracks so you can actually hear it more. All right, here it goes. Same thing. All right, guys, thanks for joining me. I'll be back with another video on this Lincoln mkZ 2013. Thanks, guys.